I bought the 2021 Yamaha XSR 900. I'd been looking for a naked bike for a while and went through all the different options from all the different vendors and ended up settling on this one. So they just dropped this off and I figured I'd do a first ride because actually I got to go to Kohl's to return something from Amazon. But of course I actually want to ride the bike. So let me go ahead and hop on. I think I've got close to no miles on it. Let's see, how do you check the odometer? Those are ride modes. Who cares? Who knows how many miles are on it? Let's get my backpack and gloves and we'll head out. Alright, so first thought is, damn, this is comfortable. I'm so used to the XSR where I'm so hunched over. I'm pretty much upright, maybe slightly lean forward on the bike, but it doesn't hurt my back or my neck or anything else to be able to have good visibility out of my helmet. I'm actually wondering the camera may be pointed the wrong direction just because it's usually set up to be looking so far down. It kind of feels like the Monkey, just with lots of power, actually a scary amount of power, just a little bit of a flick of the wrist, and it's extremely torquey. The brakes don't feel very good, but it is the first mile, so maybe there's some betting that has to take place there. Apparently they said to keep it under 7,000 for the first 100 miles. I'll do my best. It's interesting, the gauge kind of looks like the Monkey one, or at least my Monkey one from a couple of iterations ago. There's lots of little things on this bike that I'm going to change immediately. The turn signals and the tail tidy, the exhaust, some of those things that I do on every bike as soon as I get it. I am considering also slightly lowering this bike. They've got lowering links that'll bring it down. I think one is 14 millimeters, the other is 20 millimeters. The bike is a little tall for me. I can get the balls of my feet down, but still kind of tippy-toeing, so if I'm trying to walk backwards, particularly uphill, it could be a challenge. Man, this thing was great. I've also never had a triple, a 3-cylinder engine. Get my mirrors fixed here. So that's something new, and again, I just love the styling of this bike. And since this bike has been out for a little while, there's a lot of modifications already available. Unlike the or actually it was the 2019 ZX6R when I picked it up, there weren't too many aftermarket parts ready to go for it. Whereas in the case of this bike, I think it came out in 2016. So it's been several years that there's been folks modding the bikes and a lot of production parts that have come out for it. Man, the torque on this is scary. And there's lots of carbon fiber options, and if you guys have followed my channel or know me, I'm a big fan of carbon fiber. I'm going to try to keep it as balanced as possible though. I mean, this is cool because it's got that retro look. This is the same bike as the MT-09, just with this Neo Cafe retro flair to it that I particularly dig. I looked at a lot of different bikes when I was trying to figure out, you know, which Neo Cafe I wanted. I was looking at the Honda CB650R and the 1000R. Both of those seemed pretty cool, especially the single-sided swing arm on the 1000R, but it still looked a little too technical, not as rounded as I like on the tank of this XSR 900. The XSR 700 also looked pretty cool, but I figured if I was going to get another bike, I might as well get something that I didn't have, which again is the triple cylinder engine. Yeah, this is a lot taller than the 636. But so much more comfortable. Honestly, sometimes I don't feel like getting on the XSR just because I have some kind of neck pain or something. The older I get, the harder it is to enjoy riding that bike. But I'm keeping the bike. But I'm definitely keeping the 636, at least for now. I haven't found, there's no local tracks to do track days. I guess Willow Springs and Chuckawalla are the Chuckawallas? I think that's what it's called. So you know, get some good use out of that bike. And I honestly just love that bike, both the way that it looks and the way that it rides. But again, just not the most practical bike. My work is about 15 miles away, mostly highway riding, and I don't think it'd be too practical to take that bike, but this is one that I could definitely see me getting on to try commuting on. Yeah, this just feels like a big monkey, although it's much torqueier, or at least it feels torqueier than the 636. My guess is they probably overall have about the same power, but this is geared to be torqueier in the lower RPM band, where as the 636 isn't making big power until you're like over 8,000 RPM, and I haven't been keeping an eye on the gauge, but I think I'm keeping it in the 6,000 or 7,000 RPM band like I'm supposed to for this break-in period. Definitely smells kind of funky, but I assume that's just break-in stuff. Anyway, so I just wanted to briefly introduce you guys to this bike because it's going to be featured prominently on the channel. I know this isn't a new bike. The 2022 version is being redesigned and coming out in the next few months. I looked at it though, the seat I think looks hideous, and some of the other design cues that they changed just didn't look nearly as appealing as this bike. So since this was the last year, I found a relatively good deal on this one. There were actually only two within 100 miles of me, and Fun Bike Center, where I picked this one up, offered me a great deal, and they're super local, so figured it's a good opportunity to start a relationship with a dealership here near where I live. I had a couple of great relationships over there in Florida, so hoping I have the same opportunity here, especially when new bikes come out. Then it's easier to be higher on the list to get them. Anyway, again, so you'll be seeing this bike quite a bit on the channel. Anyway, thank you everybody for watching. Stay tuned for more videos and keep on building.